If you break as much thread as me, you're wondering, how do you reset this thing? Easy peasy. I'm going to show you how to do it. We'll need the first marker with the 20 feet of invisible thread wrapped around it. Remove and discard the tape and any leftover thread from the Sharpie Magic marker. So you have a clean Sharpie Magic marker just right off the floor of Walmart, Office Depot. And I'm going to start to unwind the Sharpie here, the string off of it. Now this is, again, it's invisible thread. If you hold it up to a blue sky, hold up to a light source, you'll see that it's made up of dozens of strands of individual little fibers. You have to pinch out just one and wrap that single strand around the tip of the Sharpie Magic marker. And I'm going to use just Scotch tape here. There's nothing special about it. A small piece of the tape goes right across the tip to hold that strand you just pushed down, wrapped around there against the marker. And now we will start to wind the single strand around the marker. And from here, if we pull some thread off, you can see we can push the other strands down so that we have the single strand that we can then wrap more around the marker. And we're going to go through just like this, foot by foot, all the way down, all 20 feet of the thread, so that we have 20 feet of invisible thread wrapped around the tip of the Sharpie Magic marker. Now I'm letting the first marker roll around in this little pencil box. I bought this for 88 cents at a liquidation store called Big Lots. You can get them at Office Depot, Walmart. You can use any box. It doesn't have to be this box, cigar box, crayon box. If you bought something at Walmart, it came in a box, you can use that box. If you order something on eBay, it came in a box, you can use that box. If you don't have a box, just take your socks out of the drawer, put them on the bed. You can use your sock drawer as a box, and when you're done, you can put the socks right back in the sock drawer. Or alternatively, you don't even need a box to have it roll in. You can just throw it on the floor and let it roll around the floor. Just keep your eye on it, don't let it get tangled up so it's going to snap. And this is no longer a Sharpie Magic marker down here. This is a machine. This is a wheel. The wheel is one of the 6 simple machines, and we're going to use it to wheel off the thread as we need it. And up here we're using the screw. We're not just going to roll the marker around. That would take a lot longer. If we use our hand, you can see, make a circular motion. We're working it like it's a screw and winding the thread right around it. And we're going to do this in real time. We're not going to cut away. I want you to see how long it should take. It's not hard. It doesn't take that long. You can make a couple of these up in an hour and have a month's supply, or whatever, however much you need, how much you go through. It just doesn't take long at all. I like to sit down and watch something on TV, Netflix, whatever. And you can just sit here and make this up. It's not a hard process. We are almost near the end there. And then I'm going to show you how to cap this off, and we'll make the second one. Now, here's the end. So we're going to push it all the way down. Just like so. If you accidentally mark your fingers up with this, what you can do is just let the marker air out so that it dries and it no longer becomes a problem. I have the cap on it now. We're going to take a small bead of wax and wrap around the single strand just like so, and break that off. And now I'm going to just wheel off just a little bit more so it's longer. So here you have the Sharpie Magic marker. 20 feet of invisible thread wrapped around it. The small bead of wax hanging. All we got to do is wrap it around a few times and stick the wax to the bottom like so. And that one's set up, ready for levitation. Now we're going to load the thread onto this marker. We'll take the cap off. So this is the one we just made. It's got the bead of wax at the bottom, 20 feet of invisible thread. We're going to take this end of the thread, and note this is the end that was under the cap, and note that it has a knot in it. I always tie a knot in my thread. We're going to explain exactly why in just a second, but first we're going to wrap this around the colored tip, the knotted end, and we're going to put the lid on, and again it wedges it in place so that we can now spin all 20 feet of the thread around the super spinner. It's not going to interfere with the thread that's already on there. The wax will be there. We'll be able to still use this one. We're going to use it so that we can turn the other marker into a super spinner as well. So now you can have 40 feet of invisible thread in your pocket instead of just one 20 foot. So you got two 20 footers, that equals 40 feet of thread. So again, all we gotta do is wind this all the way up. Doesn't take long, it's almost finished. And we're gonna have to strip out a single strand. Now I'm gonna move the camera up closer so you're gonna be able to see this one being made a lot better, because from a distance it's hard to see. So give me 1 second for the camera move. Okay, so now the camera is much closer. You'll be able to see this process. Now this is the invisible thread again, the woolly nylon. You have to pinch out one single strand. I know you can't see that, but it's there. You can see the bottom, how the other strands are right there. You have to pinch out one and wrap that strand around the colored tip of the marker. It's wrapped right around the colored tip. And now we'll take a piece of Scotch tape and just tape right over the strand that we just wrapped around it. And that'll lock it right there. That locks it in place. And so now I want you to notice how I use 3 fingers, 2 fingers and a thumb technically, to hold the tip of the Sharpie, like so. Now the thread cannot land on the marker where the fingers are on it, because the fingers are on it. So all I have to do is spin that around my fingernails. That's where I'm aiming. And as I hit the nail, it'll slide off the nail and land on the marker and create a very smooth straight line. Every once in a while I'll rotate the marker just a turn there, little, quarter turn, just to keep it on its toes. And so it's real easy to do this. It's not a complex task. It just takes a little time. You're doing 20 feet. But to me, this is really the best way to do it, because you can buy on eBay 1,000 meters of black flat woolly nylon for 20 bucks, and you'll have more invisible thread than you'll ever need. This is it. This is the best way to do it. You are the machine. You don't need a fancy device that does some kind of gimmick to get you to buy it. It's not rocket science. It's invisible thread. It's easy. You are the machine. Have you ever seen the show, The $6 Million Man? It would cost $6 million to build a machine to do what you are capable of doing with this thread. That's your budget there. Your $6 million machine. All of the sensors you have in your hands and your arms as you feel the thread slide across you. All of the CPU processing power of your brain in order to move all of the joints, the muscles, all of the movable parts. And that's the way I look at invisible thread. I don't look at it as something that's fragile, that's going to break. This stuff is super strong all by itself. I've just been using this entire DVD. Everything you've seen, including the live clips, is all done using black woolly nylon. I'm not using any special thread or anything like that. It doesn't take special thread. You just got to, work with it. Get that feeling down. This stuff is really hard to break. I look at it like an ant could not break a piece of this string in half. An ant is capable of lifting 500 times his own body weight, yet he wouldn't be able to break invisible thread. Sure, it's going to break. If it breaks, you just put it in your pocket. It's over. You move on to the next trick. Invisible thread is something you should do early in your show, so that if it does break, it's okay. Here, I got a better trick. You know, you're early. You don't want to build up to a climactic moment. Like, this is the greatest trick of them all. This is my big finale. This is the one you've been waiting for. Oh, whoops, I broke the thread and now I can't do it. You don't want to do that. You want to do thread work early as an intention getter, get it out of the way, and then use it as a springboard for other effects. And here again, we've reached the end, and we're going to put the cap on, and magician's wax, and I got the bead of wax wrapped around the end. So you've seen it twice now. We've got two of them. Again, I'll take it out and spin just a little off so that it's all ready. I got 20 feet of invisible thread. And don't use sparingly on that wax. Don't think, oh, I'll just use a little teeny tiny bit. This is silicone putty. It doesn't work like magician's wax. You need a good size of it to grip the object. You don't want to use a little bit. Use a good size bead like I do. Now, this here thread, we take this off, the cap. We can remove the thread. You can see that we still have 20 feet of invisible thread wrapped around the Sharpie. So we have two now, so that's 40 feet of invisible thread, and we can just put this in the box. We can just close the box and save it for when these two, when we need to reset them. You can reset them, you can open it up, and if you don't have a box like this, that's okay. You can leave it like that, store it like this. Let's cut to the wide screen. I want you to see this. I got something I want to show you. Now, remember I told you to tie a knot in it? Look what happens. It doesn't fall back apart. This is very stable. That knot is really one of my greatest secrets with invisible thread. With the web spinner, it was obvious why there was a knot, so I never had to explain it. But here you can see why I like tying knot in the end of the thread. In fact, right over here on the counter, out of sight, is another one that I used before. So here we have two of them. These things are pretty stable, just like that. My cat doesn't jump on my record player, so it just sits there and collects dust, literally. Nothing bothers it. It just sits over here.